Let's welcome back. We'll take you live to the International Press Center, where CODEO is currently holding a news conference on election 2024.
The appearance of partisan neutrality are paramount and must be safeguarded. It is against this background that we have, over the years, consistently advocated for a transparent and inclusive process for appointing persons to fill vacancies on the EC. The appointment to the EC of individuals known as widely perceived to be partisan or party-based can only go to deepen public mistrust in the EC. We believe strongly that the resignations of Dr. Peter Piahini and Salima Ahmed Tijani are a necessary step in the efforts to rebuild trust and confidence in the EC, thereby guarantee the peace of our elections and the effectiveness of the Commission in the discharge of its extremely important national mandate. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Long live Ghana. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, thank you, Reverend Dr. Fred Degbe, for the statement. I know it's a long statement, but I think it's important, given the gravity of the matters, to be clear in the position of CODEO, CFI, and Star Ghana. Let me take the opportunity to acknowledge Major General retired Coleman, who is chairman of the Civic Forum Initiative with the Secretariat at IDEC, who just joined us. So, Major, you're welcome. Before I open up for questions and comments to the high table, let me just make some additional notes on the trust ratings for the EC, so that that's also factored in. So normally in the Afrobarometer surveys, there's a list of institutions that respondents are asked to rate their trust in those institutions, and the EC is one of them. And you have to indicate whether you trust the institution a lot, you trust it somewhat, you don't trust it at all, and so on. So this ratings that you see is on people who are showing a strong preference, a strong trust for the EC. That is, that they trust the EC a lot. And you can see that beginning from in 2004, when you had 48%, which is a very strong positive endorsement of the EC. Since then, those who are saying they trust the EC a lot has reduced all the way to 10%. So that is just an additional note that we need to point out. With that in mind, let me just open the floor for any questions from media or stakeholders who are here. Yes, sir. And please identify yourself and then the question. Sorry, I didn't. Is there a mic that... Oh, there's no mic, so you... Obed, yes. Yes, Obed.
So part of the statement suggested that the representation of the election management body should include members of some political parties.
No, that's not correct. So maybe, that's why I said it's a long statement. So the idea is that the model that Ghana has chosen does not allow for partisans to be represented on the Electoral Commission. In places like Liberia and other countries where you have members, a representation of, it's like an IPAC that runs like an Electoral Commission, yes. So ours is supposed to be independent. Yeah.
I wanted to clarify.
That's right, yes. Yeah. Yes, madam, please. And identify yourself and then your question.
My name is Nani Tete. I work with Star.
That's right.
In the statements, it was said that you know that a revocation is highly unlikely, and you are urging the two
Yes.
to resign. It's
Sure.
really an honorable thing.
Sure.
I could also say that that is highly unlikely.
Sure.
So, what do you think can be done
Yeah.
in terms of checks and balances, so that despite the seeming affiliation of these people to the governing party, it doesn't affect the outcome of the elections?
So that is a matter that we have discussed and will discuss further. I think what the CODEO board and CODEO and CFI and other collaborators are saying is that we want, the principles and the spirit of the Constitution to be respected, and that's for every Ghanaian. So the individuals who have been appointed themselves also have an obligation to support, the sustenance of this democracy. So I think the first call is on them, and the reason why a revocation is not even feasible in the current context is because the appointment has already been done. If it was for the chairperson or any of the deputies, you have to go through an elaborate, process to remove her. For the non-executive members, they basically are covered by the Public Services Commission processes until they retire. So that's why revocation is not one that, and of course, given all the issues we have said about the trust of the Electoral Commission and the independence, we also don't want the executive interfering in that way to be removing members of the commission. So the first option for us is the individuals recognizing their obligations and doing the right thing. I think if that is not, then there are other options that CODEO and CFI and Star Ghana and other stakeholders have to consider. That is something that the board and the association would look at. But the point is that the current state of affairs is not tenable, and we need to find a way to resolve it. There's a gentleman, you had your hands up, or was it the same question? Okay, so that's been addressed. Okay. Yes.
Yes, so, my name is Sarah.
Sarah. Yes.
From TV3.
Yes, Sarah.
Just a follow-up to her question.
Yes.
I believe CODEO and your partners have already thought of the possibilities if they do not resign, and available options you will be adopting to ensure the right thing is done.
Sure.
But before we get to that stage, if they do not,
Yes.
and we do not find any way of getting them out,
Yes.
and the trust in the EC keeps declining, like you said,
Yes.
what would be the repercussions on the upcoming elections in the country?
So I think we have to crawl before we walk. So I think the first step is, of course, to indicate our disapproval of the current state of affairs and ask for corrective measures to be taken. I think that the individuals themselves should be given that opportunity, and then we see what actions they take. But certainly, we are going into an election, and we don't want this subsisting. So there would have to be other steps taken, to bring this matter. I don't know if you've been following what's happening in Kenya, but in the post-election, given all the challenges that was experienced, even though the president has power to appoint new electoral commissioners, he has asked the parliamentary committee to set up a bipartisan group so that there can be a bipartisan arrangement on who to appoint to the Electoral Commission. So these matters are not just matters that only are restricted to Ghana. The dangers for all of us is palpable, right? So I think that everybody that is concerned about Ghana's democracy, and this is 30 years of the Fourth Republic. So we all have to have learned the lessons, not just from Ghana, from 92, but also in the sub-region.